Hillside Cemetery is located in the village of Palatine, Cook County, Illinois, on Smith Street between Colfax and Robertson. It can be also accessed from Brockway Street, one block east of Smith Street. The cemetery consists of three parts: the original portion, the Filbert edition, and the Greendale edition. Here is its story, and one that is still evolving. These videos are being recorded in order to preserve Hillside Cemetery as it exists today. With the passing of time, the old marble and sandstone tombstones are crumbling and wearing away. With each passing year, yet another one cracks or another stone becomes too faint to read. For in this cemetery is recorded history of the village of Palatine. Hillside began when the town began, with the coming of the railroad and the platting of the village by Joel Wood, who also donated the land for the cemetery. They are all here: the mayors, the merchants, the farmers, the bankers, the doctors, the midwives, and the teachers who brought Palatine from a tiny hamlet built around the railroad depot to modern times. Their wives, husbands, and children are here too. Some of them just hours or days old. Others live to be 100. The soldiers are here too, men and women who fought in the U.S. in every war from 1812 to Vietnam. About 40 of them were Civil War veterans. We, Palatine of the present, must remember them, the Palatine of the past, for our children, the Palatine of the future, so that they will know who and what has gone before them. That is the purpose of these videos. Here we are at the plot of F5 Myron Lytle. Myron Lytle was the son of William Lytle and Rebecca Rich, born February 28, 1826. He came with his family from Malone, New York, via the Great Lakes to Chicago route when he was 12 years old. They had a tavern in Chicago on Milwaukee Avenue. Myron came to Palatine when he was in his early 20s. He married Anne Bradwell of Palatine. Myron and Anne had one child, Annie. Myron and Charles Pierce rented a building and started a grocery store in 1856, just after the town of Palatine was founded. He was the first mayor of Palatine when the village first was incorporated in 1866. In 1870, he was a lumber dealer. He also ran a grain elevator with Mr. Anderman. At the time of his death, he ran a poultry farm. He was known as a reliable breeder. His obituary said that he was a good citizen, an affectionate husband, a kind father, and an honest man. Not much more known is about Mrs. Lytle. When her daughter and son-in-law moved to Austin, now part of Chicago, in 1895, she went with them and she died there. Myron died April 7, 1889. He was 63 years old. Here we are back at the Filbert edition of the cemetery, F17. Clorinda Cady. She was the first pioneer child to be born in the Palatine Township. Her parents, Ezekiel and Adeline Cady, had arrived in Deer Grove the year before from New York. When they arrived, there were only 4 other men in Deer Grove. Deer Grove became an important community before the railroad came, and there were several stores there. The Cady farm was at Ela and Dundee Road. She grew up on a farm and attended school in a one-room log cabin on the Cady farm. Clorinda recalled in a newspaper article a time when claim jumpers visited the farm when her father was away. They tore down fences and damaged buildings to frighten the family. This practice had stopped when one of the claim jumpers was shot and killed in Hoosiers Grove. The first cemetery in the area was also on the Cady farm. It began with the death of her brother Wilbert. That cemetery still exists on Ela Road. Ezekiel and Adeline are buried there. Clorinda was one of 10 children. 2 of her brothers, William and Alfred, fought in the Civil War. When the Northwestern Railroad began construction through Palatine Township, she met Morton Pinley, a construction worker. Morton was the son of Luther Pinley, born in Hartford County, Connecticut. He was raised and educated there. Morton and Clorinda were married in Fayette County, Iowa, where Clorinda had gone to live with some of her family. She was just 15 years old. The Pinneys returned to Illinois in 1854. Morton worked at a stone quarry in Stony Island. They moved back to Iowa for a short time. The couple returned to Deer Grove, where they bought a farm on Ela and Baldwin Road and raised tobacco along with other crops. They had 5 children. Ida, Adie, Luther, Edward, and Morton. Morty was accidentally killed at the train depot and is buried here at Hillside. The family rented a farm and moved into the village in 1883. Mr. and Mrs. Pinney were in charge of the Dunning Institute for 4 years. Morton served as the Palatine town supervisor, town collector, highway commissioner, and a village trustee. The Pinneys were long-lived. Morton died when he was 91, and Clorinda died when she was 92. Join us again next time when we do another edition of Hillside Histories. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel.